Wat gaan we vandaag doen? Iets heel spannends. We hebben een hele bijzondere gast, namelijk Gail. En je ziet haar al hier zitten naast mij. Gail komt uit Engeland, dus we gaan dit vandaag ook in het Engels doen. En Gail heeft een heleboel waanzinnig waardevolle tips voor ons om, ja, hoe zou ik het zeggen, stress te beheersen. Wat kun jij zelf doen gedurende de dag om jouw stresslevels omlaag te krijgen, om uit die continue te komen? En ze heeft een aantal super praktische tips en we gaan over een aantal tips praten en daar kun je uit gaan kiezen. Daar kun je zelf mee aan de slag. Dus ik ga je daar heel veel plezier mee wensen. Ik ga ook meedoen. We gaan het allemaal voordoen. En ik ga nu naar Gail toe. Gail, a big welcome. I'm so happy that you're here with us today. Thank you so much. Because with all your knowledge about EMDR, about EFT, and. So you know, with all the clients you have, that stress is a big issue for all of us, right?
Stress on the outside and then stress that we do to ourselves with our ruminative mind, I call rumination. So we've got a little talking to us, lots of negative thoughts, negative, commentary on things. So yes, it's about watching for that rumination and the awareness of that. And then yes, using techniques that help calm the body's nervous system and the limbic brain. Yeah, so that's one of the bits I do with my clients. Yeah.
And you're
Lovely to
going
be
to
here. Thank you.
and you are going to share with us some techniques, different techniques, what we can do ourselves every day during the day, because we are, as you say, we are all stressed. As we always say, just having, here it is, having your phone with you, or even an Apple Watch, seeing every minute, watching stuff coming in, it triggers the red stress response. And as we all know, stress is not good for our health. Stress ages us much quicker than we want to. And that's the whole thing, what we are talking. We want happy aging, better aging. So please reveal to us, what can we do? How can you help us? Show us.
Yeah, so first I'll just say a little bit about the body, what's going on, and like you might know this already, but it's just to recap on that. So yeah, so when we're experiencing stress, whether that's we're providing that in our own mind with the ruminative mind with a lot of negative thoughts, or whether we're experiencing it from the world outside, what happens is the limbic brain, so the very center part of the brain, and the body's nervous system will go on alert. And when it does that, it actually knocks out the frontal lobe, the bit where we're thinking. It stops that from working properly. So it makes it harder for us to think, what can I do? What can I do to help myself? What it also does is it puts cortisol and adrenaline into the body. Now, the amount is dependent on the stress that we're experiencing, but it will do that to an extent, even if it's a small stressor, where the blood and the oxygen are coming away from essential functions like digestion and creating white blood cells for the immune system and that sort of thing. And so obviously that then affects the rest of the cells and it affects the brain and everything. So what we're doing with the stabilizing techniques, there's 5 that I talk about, where you're calming the limbic brain and calming the nervous system of the body. That's what we're after, because then naturally over time, the mind will come away from it'll just naturally switch over from rumination to problem solving, coming up with ideas, being creative. It will just naturally do that. The more we get used to using the stabilizing techniques and the more we watch for the rumination, so we're not getting stuck on that. So yeah,
But
that's what the
also about
stabilizing
being
techniques are.
aware that these things happen, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very important one. And
Mm,
not
mm.
just keep on going, but hey, be mindful. Wow, I need a break. And
Yes,
that's a really short one.
yes, yes. So all of the stabilizing techniques, the 5 that I talk about, can only take a couple of minutes. And there's 2 reasons, because we're all busy anyway. But the other reason for it only being a couple of minutes is because the ruminative mind will always come up with reasons why for you not to do something to help yourself. I'm too busy. I feel good today, so I don't need to do them. I don't feel good today, so I won't do them. You know, there's all sorts of reasons. And so the what we're creating there is another part of us mind that's saying, well, it's only a couple of minutes. So it's easy to
That is
place
what,
it
what,
back.
what we need, right? We need these short routines, even just like, okay, we all used to brushing our teeth 2 minutes a day, morning, evening. That's a habit. So integrate these techniques just like brushing your teeth for just for 1 minute in between. You have time, even if you go to the loo. I mean, go and sit and do your stuff, right?
It's so funny that you say that because that's what I say. I say it's just a routine like brushing your teeth. So if we do a couple of minutes every day, it's a routine. It doesn't matter whether, you know, you're feeling good, you're feeling bad or whatever, or you're busy or you're not busy. A couple of minutes isn't going to make that massive impact. And so the ruminative mind then doesn't have anything to argue against. It's
Well,
just a routine.
and how great is it if this monkey in your head stops talking? Because it messes with your mind and it messes with your life and the feeling of joy and
Yes.
this, I mean, gone. So if you manage with these simple, super simple techniques to also change this in your mind and not listening to, no, you don't have time. It's
Yeah.
good for you. It's important. It's about your health.
Yes, and it's managing the thoughts as well as managing the normal reaction that we might have to something that may not be a beneficial reaction. And it's also managing the emotional reaction that we have to things, because usually an emotional reaction cannot be very beneficial for us as well. So, yes, we can just say this is a normal routine that I do. So I have a couple of minutes when I get up before I get out of bed. I could do it then. I've got a couple of minutes when I go to bed before I go to sleep. I could do it then. And yes, you can take yourself off to the bathroom and do a couple of minutes then. No one's going to know. So the 5 ones I talk about are breathing techniques. Now, I'm all about simple things because if the limbic brain and the body's nervous system are activated, the frontal lobe's going to be kicked out and won't be working very well. So it needs to be, I've always been on the hunt for simple things. So we've got 3, 4, 5, which is you're breathing in and making that count 3. So it's not 3 seconds, it's just your normal in breath and make that count 3. Hold it for the count of 4 and then breathe out for the count of 5. We want to lengthen the out breath because when we do that, it calms the limbic brain and calms the nervous system of the body that then affects all the other cells and the skin cells and everything in the brain. So the other one is the box breathing. A lot of people have heard of this one. So you're visualizing a box where you're breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, and holding for 4. And that makes it easier because you're visualizing something at the same time. So that's number 1. The second one is mindfulness of the current moment. Now,
May,
the way,
may
oh,
I
sorry.
interrupt you? A short interruption. Do you want to talk about the 5 first, or do we have now you say breathe? Shall we do the breathing together?
Yes, yes, we could do
And
practice it every time.
which one do you prefer?
My personal favorite, I like them all. Honestly, I do. Tapping's kind of the EFT tapping. So if I just quickly go into the 5 and then we'll do each one. So
Okay.
it's breathing technique, mindfulness of the current moment, which is, I'll explain what that is. It's EFT, which is your tapping. TAT, which is tap as acupressure technique, which is another acupressure one like tapping, EFT. And then the 5th one I talk about is very simple. It's just the infinity sign on your forehead. Lovely. Lovely. Okay, so we could go into the first one, breathing. So yeah, let's do the 3, 4, 5. So you're just breathing in and make that count 3 and hold it for the count of 4 and breathe out for the count of 5. And just focusing on the breath like that's going to calm things down. Again, we're not attending to anything in the outside world, and hopefully we're not attending too much of the rumination that's in the mind. We're just focusing on the breath, focusing on the body.
I just did this twice now. And right away, I'm like, feel this, feel my
Yeah.
body. And do you inhale through the nose?
Yes, it's just normal breathing. Yeah, in through the nose, out through the nose. What's normal? Yeah. Yeah.
And no, if you say, okay, if you feel anxious and a little bit stressed and you start breathing, because the thing is, if you breathe, your body, you can only breathe like this if you are safe. So your body knows the moment you start breathing like this, okay, no grizzly bears, no tigers, it's okay. We can relax, right?
Definitely.
As you say, right away, everything calms down. How many times would you like? 3, 4, 5 times?
Probably about 5 at least. Yeah, I mean, it's just whatever you need, and that's what I say about all the stabilizing techniques. You just keep doing that until you start to feel things calm down. So that's why it's a good idea to actually have a routine where you do a couple of minutes every day, so that if something then happens during the day, you're more likely to remember to do it. Because I always say, no one's going to remember something that somebody told them about 2 weeks ago. We need to practice just a couple of minutes every day, so that when we really need it, the very next thought we have after something happens is, oh, I need to do stabilizing technique. So yeah, it's something that we condition ourselves to do.
Right. And as you say, do this when you wake up, before you get out of bed. Just do this a couple of minutes and remind yourself, I can do this every time during the day when I need it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just say that to yourself, and maybe you start reminding yourself
Hmm.
something
Hmm.
has, okay, breathe.
Yes.
That's lovely. That's lovely. And even if you do just do the 5 breath, it's beautiful.
Yes, that's all you
Don't
need to do.
judge yourself about, oh, I didn't do, let's just try it. Give it a try. Add the 3, 4, 5, or as you say, the box 4,
The
4,
box
4.
breathing. Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Do you want to do the box breathing as well, or do you want to move on to the next one?
Well, let's do one box breathing and then
Okay.
yeah. And maybe one more thing, what I always do, but that's because, well, I do this more often. I always put on this Mona Lisa smile on my face when I breathe, and imagine this smile in every cell in my body. I think, oh, everybody, all my cells, all these little guys.
That's a good
they,
idea.
ev-
Yeah.
they're all. I
Yeah.
transport this
Yeah.
smile in my body and in my
Mm.
organs.
Definitely. 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 And you can feel the difference when you smile. When you get used to how it feels in your body, when you actually smile, you can feel the difference in the body when we do that. That's for sure.
Your
So
body can feel sad when you're smiling.
exactly.
You smile, you cannot feel shitty. Can't. It's
Yeah,
the
it makes a difference in how you feel. It's crazy. Just that one thing. Mm,
okay.
mm. And yes, it's good to do a couple of techniques at the same time. So if I remember, I'll say that at the end as well, because you can do some of these techniques together and then you get in a double whammy of stabilizing techniques.
Oh, I'm going to be
Efficiency.
so relaxed.
Efficiency. I like the efficiency.
Part of
So
it.
we're visualizing a box. So we're breathing in for 4, holding for 4, out for 4, holding for 4. And I probably did that too quick.
Oh, that was okay.
Okay.
Also for everybody different, right? These 4,
Mm.
as I often say, just follow your heartbeat.
Definitely, yeah. Just follow what feels right for you. And it's not about trying to control any your breathing with any of this. Like I said with the 3, 4, 5, it's not trying to make your breathing you know, longer. You're just using your normal rate, whatever it is, to start with, because as soon as you start to focus on it, it will slow down naturally anyway. So it's not about forcing anything. Yeah, we don't want to be doing that. Yeah. So the next one is mindfulness of the current moment. Now, this one's more a sort of mind, you know, awareness technique. And obviously it comes from mindfulness. The way I explain it is that we practice it by talking out loud about what we're doing right now. So I personally find this a really good one if I've got quite strong rumination, if there's a lot of negative thoughts or worrying or stressing about things in the mind. Then what we do is we just talk about whatever we're doing. So the example I always use is making a cup of tea or coffee, whatever everybody has, or cacao, whatever it is. So I heard the switch of the kettle when I switched it on. I can hear the element heating up the water. I can see the steam coming out of the kettle. I can feel the coolness of the handle of the mug as I'm bringing it down from the cupboard. So we bring in all of the senses and we just talk about what we're doing right now. What that does is it gives the mind a job to do, so it comes away from the worrying and the stressing and the rumination. So give the mind a job to do, it won't be doing that rumination so much, because it takes a lot of energy to find the words to describe the moment by moment experience. And that's a good one to do in the car as well. So it's actually a technique that's taught if anyone does advanced driving courses. You talk about everything that's on the road, you know, like, oh, there's a bus on the left hand side, or there's a lorry turning in ahead. When you're talking like that, it really focuses us. So yeah, we then don't have the energy to be ruminating so much. So I find that one particularly good. So what we're doing is we're learning that skill, talking out loud. And then when we've done that for a week or so, then it's easier to do it silently. And both the breathing technique and mindfulness of the current moment silently, we could do when we're in company with other people and they won't know that we're doing it. So
That's
handy.
interesting. So it is kind of subtitling yourself, not only what you're doing, but what you're seeing, what what you're smelling.
Mhm.
So you integrate the sensitive, or what you feel, what you hear, what you smell. Wow, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, it's really good. Rumination's really strong if we're really worrying about something and we've just got caught on it. It's really good for breaking that.
Yeah. Can you give some more examples? But you said for the tea, which is, yeah, but okay, I'm sitting here, I'm working on my computer, and I'm thinking like, wow, overwhelm. What would you say the moment you're just working, for example?
I mean, we could even comment on, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. Oh my God, right, I need to look out the window. Well, I can see the green grass on the sloping hill, and I can see the stones of the stone wall. I can see there's a white bird in the field, and I can see the tree, and half of the tree is into the sky, and the skies are kind of light blue, white color.
I love your view.
I know, I'm very fortunate now.
Okay, so you just start, get away from this and see, look outside.
Because it takes so much energy for the mind to do that. It then comes off the rumination, because
Oh,
as we know, the
that's
rumination.
really good. So you have to exercise, you have to practice.
Yes, yeah. If once we've got that one quite strong, because we've practiced it, and you only, again, it's a couple of minutes a day, couple of minutes a day.
Well, I think for us women, because most of us are the ones always cooking, not always,
Yeah.
but cooking is maybe a beautiful
Hmm,
place to get started. What am I doing, right? And the
yeah,
smell and the taste
yeah,
would be
definitely.
for a good place to start. I'm going to do that tonight,
Mm,
tomorrow. Cool.
good idea.
Or whenever you're doing, for example, in the morning, you're doing your skincare routine.
Yes, definitely. I can
What is
feel the smoothness of, yeah, definitely,
cool? Oh, I
definitely.
love this. Something today. Yes.
So that's the two that that we can do once we learn them really well. We can do them in company with other people. The next three that I talk about, you may not wish to do them in company with other people, and that's when you might go to the bathroom or that sort of thing when you really need them. Now, these ones are based on acupressure, so they're based on the body and how the body feels, which means I think they're more effective for calming your limbic brain and nervous system. They're more effective because they're actually working with the body and how it feels straight away. So that's why I would say I do love all of them, but I guess maybe EFT, the tapping one, maybe is the one that just tips the balance because I've had so much personal experience of it helping me to feel like I'm more in control.
Yeah.
It tips the balance from worrying, oh, alert, feeling powerless. And it just, once you start doing round after round of tapping, that's when I've noticed the most with this technique that the mind then naturally switches over into the asking questions, coming up with ideas, being creative about that thing that you're worried about, whatever the problem is.
Yeah,
And
but which also makes sense for me because you're using acupressure points, so you're working with meridians, you're working with energy, and the moment the energy is not blocked but can flow again, then
yes,
you have a physical and a
yeah,
metaphysical reaction.
yeah,
Both.
yeah, yeah. And you
Beautiful.
just think, oh, that's why I feel that way. Or you just come up with, oh, I could try that. That might help. And it's just natural, you know, you're not trying to force yourself to come up with ideas. It just happens naturally after doing some rounds of tapping. So that's after, you know, that's when I got to know it really well. Not trying to set things up that it's going to have that, you know, experience in day one, but it might do. It's just the practice.
You're
It's the
amazed.
daily practice. Mm.
Cool.
So the first one, because I've spoken about it now, is EFT. So that's emotional freedom technique. And it's a gentleman called Gary Craig who developed it in the US. He's done a lot of research on this. The technique itself is now morphed into something that's a bit more spiritual, but a lot of people still do tapping. And he's done so much research with it. And he's also done a lot of work with war veterans, really helped them with their traumatic stress symptoms. Amazing, amazing work, really amazing. So anyway, so we've got a point that's at the side of the hand that's probably about there, but we don't need to worry about where it is because we just use the pads of all four fingers and then we know we've got the point. So one side of the hand, and anything we do to one side of the body we always do to the other, so then we just switch over to the other side.
Does it matter whether you start left or right?
Not for the tapping. If we're looking at more Ayurvedic kind of, you'd start with the left if you're a woman. Yeah, you'd start with the left hand.
I always, also in my Qigong practice, everything we do both, I always start on the left.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so you can do that if you wish. Then it fits in with Ayurveda, that's for sure. And then, so the point at the top of the head, if you put the bottom of the palm of your hand just above your eyebrows and put your palm flat up your head, where the pad of your third finger ends up, that's where you want to be tapping. And that's where the baby's soft spot was when we were born. That's one at the top of the head.
I'm happy that my thingy is just a little bit behind. My beautiful hair today.
It looks very smart, doesn't it?
Oh,
So, so we've got the three around the eye. So they're on the edge of the bone of the eye socket. So it's at the beginning of the eyebrow.
just here under the eyebrow, right?
Yeah, just on the edge of the bone of the eye socket. On the edge. And then on the outer edge of the eye, again on the edge of the bone of the eye socket. And then at the bottom center, on the edge of the bone. And then we've got top lip and bottom lip. So just in the space between the top lip and the nose. And then in the dip between the chin and the bottom lip. Then there's two on the torso. So just if you take your collarbone the two corners, and you're just going diagonally down, just on the top of the chest. This technique always makes you yawn. And when you do any work like this, the yawning is a release of stress and tension from the body. So it's not that I'm bored or I'm tired. It actually makes me feel more energized. So it's really lovely. Yeah.
Well, it's always, I also do the healing movement Qigong with Katie Brindle. She always says, yawning, farting, burping, it's all a healing reaction. It's all okay.
Yeah, we might not want to do the other ones, but yawning's all right. So oh yeah, that's funny. So side of the torso, so just underneath your arm, so you're 2 inches down from your armpit on both sides of the torso. You can either do one and then the other, or both at the same time. It's up to you. And then we end where we started.
Oh,
At the same.
okay. You did both.
Yeah, just cross
Oh,
your arm, and then
that's
you do
this.
both at the same time.
Oh, I was sitting here like, oh, I'm doing one side and the other side. But you sit like this and you do both at the same time.
Yeah, and then it's much quicker. Yeah.
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 I was wondering, why are your arms still up? Yeah, isn't this?
Quicker. And then you're back where you started, one side of the hand and then the other. Now, Gary Craig, that's lovely. Gary Craig says to do at least 3 rounds if you want to do a check-in, if you want some proof to say back to the ruminative mind, because the ruminative mind will tell you, oh, that doesn't work, or oh, that works for other people, but it won't work for me. You know, so if we want some proof to say back to it, we can do a check-in. So we can say, my anxiety's at 7 right now, and you could do 3 rounds of the tapping and then do a check-in. Now, if it goes down to 6, that is a result, isn't it? And you could do another 3 and it would go down a little bit more. But if we didn't do that check-in, it would be easy for the ruminative mind to say, oh, well, you still feel anxious, so it's not worked.
Yeah. Even after the one round, I feel this tingly feeling.
Yes, lovely. Lovely technique. Really, really good. So yeah, that's really simple. In the videos, there are videos, obviously lots of videos on YouTube of different things like EFT and other techniques. They do, a lot of them say, because they're using them as a therapy technique, they'll say to say a sentence alongside the tapping. You don't need to do that. You can just do the tapping.
Yeah,
It doesn't
that's
need
what
to
they
have
often do, right? But I think just the tapping, you're having all these acupressure, and I know, like, okay, that's here, which meridians, which organs are connected. I mean, you have them all. You have the liver, you have the bladder, you have the stomach. So, and that's also the tingly feeling that, I mean, that's always what I say. They are so sensitive that only if you're doing this in your face, or being here on your stomach meridian, which is very good for earthing, it starts moving in your whole body. So beautiful.
Yeah, it's so easy to do.
That's, I don't know if I should say this, but sometimes if I visit someone, I don't know, call names, and I drive back and I'm not always as happy as I was. And in the car, I earth
Yeah.
myself to get out of all the agitation about the people
So you do just that one. That's amazing.
just driving, and I
Yes, you can. Yeah.
this one just to earth myself again, ground
Right.
myself.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, this is it, you know, no matter what the experience is, if we practice a couple of minutes of just one of these every day, when something like that happens, we set it up for ourselves to be able to remember to use it.
And
And it is possible.
as we could see, I mean, you doing this so often. I mean, you start and whop, you start yawning. Your body responds right away. That's the thing about practicing, doing this more often, and your body think, oh wow, there we go again. Yes, I like
Yeah.
it. Because the body responds like, oh yeah, give me more, give me more.
Definitely, definitely. So yeah, EFT probably tips the balance of be my favorite one, really. And you just got a little minute to practice, you know, and know where the points are. And that's it.
Yeah,
And
it's so you
got
start
the memory.
here. It's
Yes,
good up here. Oh yeah, then you start here.
do it again. So you've got side of the hand, one at the top of the head, three around the eye, beginning of the eyebrow, outer edge, bottom center, two top and bottom lip, top lip dipping between the chin and the bottom lip, and then two on the torso. So on the chest and then the underarms,
Yeah.
and then back at the side of the hand again.
And once you've done this a couple of times, so join us here where we did it, then you remember. You remember,
Yes, you will,
like,
because you've got
hold on,
body memory
write
with
them
it.
down, hang them, I don't know, on your mirror somewhere. And after you've done this a couple of times, you remember.
Yes, and there's loads of videos on YouTube anyway. There's a really good one, Dawson Church does an
Yeah,
intro. So you just copied from that. It's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah. So the next one is also based on acupressure and it's called TAT. So that's tapas acupressure technique. And there's a lady called Tapas Fleming who developed that again in the US. So there's videos. She's got YouTube channel with video to show you how the intro is. Again, she will advise to have a sentence alongside. You don't have to do that unless you want to. It works anyway. So you've got your left hand, your thumb and your fourth finger, so the ring finger, on either side of the top of the nose and the pad of the third finger in the middle. And it's
Wait.
a little bit uncomfortable because you do have your hand, you know, over your mouth. So you're making a little triangle at the top of your nose and it's very light holding. So we're not gripping it at all. That's it. Yes. It's a very light holding because as you might know, if we grip any acupressure points, we turn them off. So it's just touch to activate them. So it's very light holding. And then we're taking the palm of the right hand and just putting it on the back of the neck. When we're doing that, we're also activating the point that's at the base of the skull. Oh, that's lovely as well. Ay, ay, ay.
I feel everything
So,
pulsating under my fingers.
so it's just your thumb and your ring finger. Yeah, that's it. And then the pad of the third finger in the middle. So you're making a little triangle right at the top of the nose.
Yeah, but I feel my heartbeat.
Oh,
I feel it pulsating here in
oh,
my fingers.
wow. Okay,
This one.
that's cool. Well, as long as it is cool and not distressing or anything.
Yeah, it's okay. It's nice.
Yeah. So that's a really calming one as well. I don't know why, but whenever I do this one, it feels to me like both sides of my brain calm down. I don't know why. I always get that kind of vision with it. Yeah, it's lovely.
And I feel the energy going through my.
Hmm.
And this one, of course, this is also the yin tang, which is also known in Chinese medicine, acupressure, a point for example, when you have a panic attack and you just hold this space or just step this once. This is even so I can understand I mean, because oh wait, we did the fourth one. Um, wait, what did we do? Oh,
One
the
and four,
between there, yeah, and the third
third
finger.
one in the
Yeah,
middle. Yeah.
third one there. And then you, of course, you have these 2 points. Yeah, it's lovely. And you
It
can
is.
just sit like that, right?
Yes, yes. You
Oh,
can just sit like that, or you can lie in bed like that to relax before you go to sleep.
yeah, and this, I can also imagine this is really good before you go to bed because you have these points. You have your bladder points with your at your eyes. This one and everything around. Your eyes are tired.
Mm.
Watching so much at our screen, so And just doing this, holding these points around your eyes, just closing your eyes, doing this at everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. So you don't have to just lay in bed and do this for a couple of minutes.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. We're calming the limbic brain, calming the nervous system and the body. That's what we're after.
And that's what we need to get to have a good sleep
Mhm,
also.
mhm, mhm.
Cool.
Last one. This one's lovely for, this one's really simple. Lovely for, again, that could be something that we condition ourselves to connect with falling asleep. So if we do it before we go to sleep, then the body and the mind connect doing that technique with falling asleep. And then if you wake up in the middle of the night, then you just reinstigate doing that technique again, because over time the body and the mind will connect. Oh, I'm doing this technique. Oh, I'll fall asleep. So over
Pavlov effect.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I always say we're just like Pavlov's dog, right? It's so easily conditionable, it's untrue. So yeah. So it's just you're just using whichever hand you wish to, 2 fingers, and you're just making the infinity sign on your forehead. So it's a figure of 8 on its side.
Oh, this is lovely.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Oh, you can also use this when you apply your cream.
Yes, you could. That's
Oh, it,
amazing.
it feels like somebody is doing this with a feather, stroking with a caressing with a feather.
It's so lovely. Now, I haven't seen any research on this technique, but the information that was with it when I found it was that it releases oxytocin into your system.
I can imagine. Yeah,
And
because
it must do because it helps you to feel good and it helps you to feel relaxed. I can't think what else it must do. It's just crazy.
it's so gentle. It's like I felt like somebody's doing this with a feather.
Mm,
No,
it's
and
lovely.
infinite design always is so, and you can do
Yes.
it right that you can think, oh, I've sweep everything away.
Yes.
Oh,
And
lovely.
I'm ready for sleep.
Something she. That's, and I think this is also really good to, relaxing the muscles in your forehead that are really tense at the end of the day, watching. I mean, here there's so much tension stored, and just by doing this, it's so maybe all my wrinkles disappear one day. It's, and also because your gallbladder meridians are here, which if you are frustrated or angry, and just also by this gentle touch, you can also bring ease there again, and maybe
Mm,
blockages that can appear through being angry, being frustrated. I mean, which happens to all of us, we're all human, and that's
yep.
okay. But just by doing this,
Mhm.
I'm, well, I think I'm hooked.
This is it. So if we do a couple of minutes every day, we are then going to remember to use it. It's like if we didn't do a couple of minutes every day and we just tried to remember something from a month ago, we're not going to remember to do any of these things. It is practice. It's just having a daily practice of a couple of minutes.
Yeah, and
It's
that's it,
really-
because integrating a new habit, I mean, normally it takes like between 60 and 100 days to really make it a new habit, a new routine. We are so conditioned, but if you for yourself also have, let's say, have a why am I doing this? Because this is really good for me. This is for my health, for my well-being, for the way I feel.
Mm, yeah.
And we are so often running around for everybody else, and we completely forget about ourselves. So to just give this to yourself, it's a gift.
Mhm.
And as you say, try to do this every day. And I mean, as we said, as we started this program, so what's your intention? And just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to do this with my intention to start trying. I'm going to do this the next 30 days. At least I'm going to, well, try to pick up a pencil. Just do it. Just do it. And because it is so good for you and it's going to help you, it's going to make you feel different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
what we want, right?
I think at the bottom of all of our issues is a feeling of powerlessness. And so when we do these techniques, what we're doing is we're saying, I'm not powerless against the rumination. I'm not powerless against, thinking about this stress. I'm not powerless against feeling overwhelmed. I'm not powerless against reacting in this way. And so over time, we do start to feel less powerless. We do take more control over, and we're making that choice. This is how I want my life to be. Thanks very much. This is
Yeah.
how I want to react to things.
So it's uncovering your true power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So only because of that, everybody should do this.
Sure. They should be teaching it at school. I've said that for so long.
Yeah,
If we had this at school, definitely. Mm-hmm.
would be great, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
just started there with they are learning so much crap. Let's learn them what's life about and how we should live and how we should be happy and what we can do. There's so much wisdom about all the stuff that we can do for ourselves, help our bodies, the self-healing mechanism of because our bodies just want or our organs just want one thing is for us to survive and to be
Yes.
healthy.
Yes.
Our bodies want to be healthy and we can help them.
Yes. We definitely can. And it only needs to be a couple of minutes a day. That's a massive thing to do for ourselves. Just that. Really.
Dear Gail, thank you so much. This was really amazing. My intention is I will start integrating this from tomorrow. I'm going to talk to myself. I'm going to subtitle myself when I'm cooking, or
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really going to practice with that one because I really love that one, the tapping. Yeah. So, and this is also, we have this 5 techniques, so you can choose. You can pick.
Yes, it's about choosing which ones either, some of them may suit you, some may not. So you've got something else to try. And also you can try, like, oh, I'll do breathing today and maybe tomorrow I'll do the EFT. And so you can just pick and choose what you feel like practicing on any given day, which we all need variety. That's what we live on. So
Don't give up after one time and then, oh, this doesn't work for me
mm.
because that's your mind.
Ruminative mind. Yes.
You give it a try. Thank you so much, my dear. I'm so happy that we can share this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And well, we speak really soon again. And
Yes.
I'm going to say to everybody, have fun,
Yeah.
enjoy, and feel blissful trying these techniques. Thank you
Definitely.
so much.
Take care.
Bye bye.